Chapter 436 to 437. The one watching Kakashi from the woods was none other than Toby Jr. He was sitting on the tree trunk, his figure hidden in the shadow of the tree and looking at Kakashi with an indifferent expression as if what he is looking at is nothing more than a dead body. Suddenly, his black eye turned scarlet with 3 black tomo spinning in them. This is not the first time that the two are in this situation, Kakashi sitting by the grave of Rin, and Toby watching Kakashi from the dark, but this time it's different from the past. This time Toby sneaked into the village not only to pay Rin a visit but also to get back something that was his but given to Kakashi as a present, his left eye. Toby doesn't care what the state of his left eye is, whether it is in 2 tomo, or 3 tomo, it doesn't matter to him at all. Because he knows that once he kills Kakashi after retrieving his left eye, it too would turn into Manjikyu Sharingan. Let's start, muttered Toby as he disappeared in a swirling whirl. In front of Rin's tombstone, Kakashi sat still talking about various things, but for some reason, he suddenly felt a chill down his spine, as an unknown fear swept him. Kakashi felt that he was being stared at by someone, and most of all, his left eye which is covered by his forehead protector was acting inexplicably restless. Such a situation has happened only twice before, one was at the moment when Rin died at his hands, and the other moment was at the Valley of the Land of Lightning when the Manjikyu Sharingan unknowingly activated without him even realizing it. As an experienced shinobi, Kakashi never neglects his intuition and muttered with a sullen expression, "Today is the alliance ceremony held by the village, is something bad going to happen today? If the village was to face some sort of predicament, then he can't stay here for much longer." Bidding goodbye to Rin, Kakashi was about to get up, but then from the corner of his right eye, Kakashi noticed that his shadow on the ground was abruptly longer. Kakashi then looked in the direction of the sun and based on the position of the sun, he estimated how long his shadow should have been, and it didn't take him too long for him to realize that something was amiss. Someone is present behind me, but how and when did they appear behind? Kakashi immediately realized that the extra length of shadow was not his but of someone present behind him, and much to Kakashi's horror, this someone appeared behind him without him even realizing this. He may not be a full-time sensor nin, but Kakashi's perception is extraordinary. Most of all, his nose should have detected the extra scent but it didn't, and the opposite party is still standing behind him must mean that they are extraordinarily strong and extraordinarily fast. Understanding this, Kakashi chose not to look back as that would alert the enemy. Instead, he maintained his ignorant attitude and put his hand in his pocket. In his pocket lies a kunai. At the same moment he put his hand in the pocket, Kakashi felt a numb feeling from his left shoulder. This numb feeling gave him an inexplicable horror, at the same time an inexplicable familiarity. It has to be him, Toby, thought Kakashi, but he was not panicked. Instead, he took a deep breath and calmed his nerves. For the past month or so, Kakashi has been training with all but one purpose in mind, intending to deal with Toby. As such, Kakashi has stimulated countless battle situations between him and Toby. In fact, not only has he stimulated countless battles but has even started learning a new jutsu under the orders of Hokage-sama. Only space-time jutsu can deal with space-time jutsu, thought Kakashi, as he instantly turned around and stabbed the kunai in Toby's shoulder and at the same time sensed the presence of the few markings he has left all over the village. Flash. And instantly, with a silver flash, Kakashi's figure disappeared into thin air. Toby, who was almost certain of being able to deal with Kakashi, was taken aback by the abrupt attack and disappearance of Kakashi. His expression stagnated for a second when looking at the kunai piercing his shoulder, then soon realized just what exactly happened. Was that what I think it was? Toby removed the kunai from his shoulder, threw it on the ground, and disappeared in a spiraling whirl with a chuckle. "Ma, this only makes things interesting. Show me Hatake Kakashi, how much do you compare to Konoha's yellow flash?" At the secret training field. Flash. Plop. With a silver flash, Kakashi appeared at the secret training field, and touched the formula on the ground that he marked a few days ago. The reason for marking the formula here on the ground was so that he can directly teleport here from his house to avoid the sight of any and all when he comes here to train, so as to keep the information about him learning this new jutsu a secret. Hokage-sama did not want even a single soul to be aware of him learning this jutsu because only then would this jutsu be able to take Toby by surprise. This is also the reason why Kakashi did not inform even a single soul, not even the former members of his Anbu Team 11 about what he has been learning for the past month or so. Akatsuki's retaliation came too suddenly. I haven't yet mastered it completely, thought Kakashi as he watched his surroundings vigilantly and took out a signal flare from his shinobi bag. Kakashi knows that with his incomplete familiarity with this jutsu, he may not be able to kill Toby, so he must send out the signal flare to alert the village of Akatsuki's incoming attack. Kakashi didn't even think of the possibility that he was the target of the enemy. According to him, it is very likely that the entire Akatsuki organization plans to take advantage of the alliance ceremony and launch a full-scale attack on Konoha as an act of revenge for what happened at Amigakure. So, him being targeted a few moments ago was just a prelude to a full-scale attack. Just as Kakashi held the signal flare high and was about to fire it, his wrist was grasped and the whole body was turned over. Shot, whisked Lily. The signal flare that was supposed to have been shot into the sky was fired towards the ground because Kakashi's body was turned over. The shining signal flare bounced and jumped on the ground, and finally hit a tree not far away, instantly igniting it. Crap! Kakashi cursed when he glanced at the burning tree in the distance. He was not worried about the tree, he was worried about the village. He is currently at the secret training field, and this secret training field has already been registered on the sensory team as a special zone. Which is to say, even if Sensor Nin were to sense intense chakra fluctuations from here, or even if they sense high-intensity fires, they would ignore it unless the degree of damage is extraordinary. Which is to say, no help is coming for him. And no one in the village would be prepared for an incoming retaliation from Akatsuki. That is why Kakashi was worried. Sigh, I must calm myself, Hokage-sama must have taken measures, in which case I must do my part too, even if I cannot kill him. I must not allow him to go to the village, else that would be devastatingly damaging considering his abilities, thought Kakashi, and steeled himself for the toughest fight of his life. Kakashi understands that only someone who has mastery over space-time jutsu will be able to match up to Toby. This is also one of the reasons why he teleported here, to make sure that Toby remains occupied here. Just as that numbing feeling again started to come, this time from his hand, Kakashi again disappeared with a silver flash and appeared a little distance away from Toby. Toby looked at his left hand that held Kakashi's wrist only a moment ago, and muttered, as I thought. Flying Raijin Jutsu, huh? At this time, the panting Kakashi stood up, looking at Toby before him, then asked, Akatsuki organization intends to ruin the alliance ceremony held by the village. Toby did not speak in his usual cheerful voice, but spoke in a heavy Madara tone. Who knows? Does it really matter? 1 shinobi village. 2 shinobi villages. Or all the shinobi villages. At the end of the day, it's all one and the same. Kakashi frowned. What's that supposed to mean? Does he mean that, even if the entire shinobi race stands up against Akatsuki, it would make no difference? This means they don't care about Konoha's alliance at all, so why attack us? No, he is using wordplay, and trying to divert my attention. Thought Kakashi as he lifted his forehead protector covering his left eye. Staring at the tree tomo spinning in Kakashi's eyes, Toby nodded to himself, as I thought, it's a 3 tomo Sharingan. At this time, Kakashi asked again, what is your true purpose for sneaking inside Konoha? Is it the Kyuubi? Toby chuckled, defeat me, and I shall answer all your questions. Chirp. Dazzling thunder shone in Kakashi's right hand, as he dashed forward. Konoha is not your playground that you can come and go as you please. Toby chuckled again as Kakashi phased right through him. Entire shinobi world is my playground, I can come and go as I please. What makes Konoha so special? Then Toby turned around instantly and attempted to use Kamui on Kakashi's back, but just at the moment when Kakashi was about to be sucked, he again disappeared with a silver flash and appeared right behind Toby. Flying Raijin, Chidori. Feudal. Muttered Toby as Kakashi's carefully planned Chidori phased right through Toby again. Why struggle for this accursed world? After the kind of life you have lived, after the kind of suffering you have endured, isn't death a relief for you, Hatake Kakashi? Fear not, Hatake Kakashi, I shall give you a painless death. The way he speaks, he seems to know quite a lot about me. Is he here specifically targeting me? Thought Kakashi, as he tried to find the hidden meaning behind Toby's words. Toby's words distracted Kakashi a little, and Toby did not miss that opportunity. He weaved his hands together, and in an instant, trees rose from the ground at an extremely high speed and entangled around Kakashi, absorbing his chakra. Because of the absorption of his chakra, even the lightning of Chidori disappeared from his right hand. After making sure that Kakashi could not weave hand signs, Toby walked toward Kakashi step by step. Kakashi, who was completely restrained by the trees, shouted, just who the hell are you? Why do you know so much about me? Why do you hold enmity towards Konoha? Why do you want to harm Konoha? Toby only muttered, for the peace of the shinobi world. Then without any hesitation, he stretched out his right hand towards Kakashi's left eyes and said lightly, I shall take this eye for myself. But the moment Toby's right hand touched Kakashi's left eye, another Kakashi broke out of the ground and fiercely waved his lightning-covered right hand to stab through Toby's heart, all while saying, a shinobi must always endure, no matter how much suffering, he must endure. We live to endure this pain, death is nothing but an escape. Boom. It's just that the right hand did not do what it was intended for, it passed right through Toby just like all the previous attacks. Now Toby stretched out his hand at Kakashi's back again with the intention of using Kamui on him. The sneak attack failed. Kakashi did not give Toby any chance to take advantage. He again disappeared in a silver flash, and at the same time, the Kakashi who was bounded by the tree turned into lightning and exploded on Toby, paralyzing him for a moment. On the other hand, the real Kakashi who appeared a little distance away from the Toby did not let the opportunity go to waste and instantly threw 3 kunai at the momentarily paralyzed Toby. The kunai however did not do anything and just phased right through Toby, similar to all the previous attacks. As I stated earlier, your attacks are futile, even if you have learned flying Raijin Jutsu of Naidame Hokage, you are not fast enough, and nowhere near as fast as the yellow flash. Said Tobi in an indifferently amused tone. Without paying attention to Tobi's words, Kakashi questioned, your goal, it's the Sharingan in my eye. Tobi did not deny Kakashi's question, I shall take your Sharingan, before ending your life Hatake Kakashi. He wasn't really annoyed for being deceived by the lightning shadow clone. After a pause, Tobi asked again, a lightning shadow clone, use of flying Raijin Jutsu several times, then Chidori 2 times, not to mention the continuous drainage from the Sharingan. How much chakra do you have left Hatake Kakashi? The manner in which Tobi spoke wasn't as if he was asking a question, rather he seems to be pointing out a fact. And Kakashi's expression was gloomier upon hearing Tobi's words because he knew that Tobi is absolutely right. Kakashi has already consumed a lot of his chakra in the training a while ago, coupled with the heavy consumption now. Kakashi knows that he is really low on chakra. I must hold on until I kill him even if I overconsume my chakra and die. If anything, I must at least take him down with me. Thought Kakashi as he resolved himself to at least kill Tobi along with himself. At this time, Tobi looked at the various kunai with the flying Raijin seal scattered around the training field and marked their exact positions one by one with his Sharingan. As a former subordinate of Yandame Hokage, Tobi is also quite familiar with the flying Raijin Jutsu of Yellow Flash. On the night of Kyuubi's attack, Tobi even fought against Yandame Hokage, although he was educated on the spot by the sensei and was forced to withdraw. However, he had garnered experience in actual combat against someone more proficient in the use of flying Raijin Jutsu than the current Kakashi. Flying Raijin Jutsu, developed by Senju Tobarama, is different from Tobi's spacetime dojutsu Kamui, which uses his eyes as the center point for spatial travel. With Kamui, he can travel to almost anywhere within the shinobi world as long as he knows where he wants to be. Flying Raijin is different in this regard, it requires coordinated positioning for spatial travel. And the flying Raijin formula imprinted on these scattered kunai as well as other positions are the coordinates. Therefore, as long as Tobi has mastered the exact positions of all the coordinates, Kakashi won't be able to escape his eyes even if he managed to dodge the attacks of Kamui to a certain extent. After taking note of all the positions of the kunai scattered around the training field, Tobi said, who would have thought that the copy ninja Hatake Kakashi will even copy the flying Raijin Jutsu? I certainly never expected you to become a variable. But I suppose I underestimated you. Being a disciple of Yellow Flash, it certainly is no surprise that you follow in his footsteps, but everything ends here. You too will die the same death he died. Kakashi's face was bitter upon hearing Tobi's words. Since he has just started to learn flying Raijin Jutsu not very long ago, so even though he has worked harder than ever, Kakashi knows that he is still a far cry from his sensei Minato. Flying Raijin is not a jutsu that can be mastered so easily, and even with his talent, even if he has devoted all his time and energy to learning and mastering this jutsu, Kakashi knows that he is still a beginner, coupled with his lack of chakra at the moment. If I were to run away, then there is no telling what he will do in the village. Nobody in the village can even come close to touching him, not to mention, that if Akatsuki organization is planning to attack the village today, then him being present in the village will only add more chaos. I have no choice, I will give it one more try, if that doesn't work then only last option. After reaching this conclusion, Kakashi stood up and drew a kunai in his hand, ready for round 2. At this moment Tobi was also prepared. A gust of wind blew by swaying the petals of grass encircling the broken leaves. The moment the leaf touched the ground, both Tobi and Kakashi shot. Whoosh whoosh. While in mid-run, Kakashi thought, he deactivates his intangibility at the moment of attacking, that will be my chance. And threw 3 flying Raijin kunai towards Tobi, then observed the track of these 3 kunai and Tobi with his Tree Tomo Sharingan, waiting for the perfect opportunity, waiting for the moment Tobi will manifest himself. The 3 kunai thrown by Kakashi phased right through Tobi. The moment 3 kunai phased through Tobi, a high-intensity lightning chakra of Chidori gathered in Kakashi's right hand. Looking at the set of tactics used by Kakashi, Tobi smirked, as to be expected from a sensei and disciple pair, their method of trying to deal with me is completely the same. After having suffered a loss against the Yandame Hokage, how can Tobi not see through Kakashi's plan? But Tobi also believes that the current Kakashi is, as he stated previously, not fast or reactive enough to the sudden change in spatial shift. As such he is not worried and continued toward Kakashi. He drew his hand to touch Kakashi, just that touch alone would be the end of Kakashi. At the very same moment, Kakashi locked the kunai closest to Tobi's back and activated the flying Raijin Jutsu. Flash. He disappeared with a silver flash and appeared in mid-air above Tobi, caught the kunai and waved his lightning-covered right hand towards Tobi's back. It's just as Tobi expected, Kakashi's timing wasn't perfect, and Tobi was already a step out of the range of Kakashi, so the attack used by Kakashi hit no one and faded away. Hearing the disappearing sound of Chidori, Tobi had a smile. Flying Raijin, Second step, used by Yondaime Hokage, is extremely difficult to counter because the speed is so fast that even he with his Sharingan is unable to catch, but Kakashi has not reached that stage yet, therefore, Toby is confident in being able to avoid Kakashi's attack even with his eyes closed. Not to mention, Toby didn't really intend to materialize this time, as he wanted to use this opportunity to trap Kakashi. Just as Kakashi realized that he failed the attack, trees emerged from Toby's back and entangled Kakashi in midair. Crap, that was a trap all along. Kakashi only realized it now. Toby turned around and looked at bounded Kakashi, then said, "You realized it, but it's a little too late." As Toby said, it was already too late. The current state of Kakashi is haggard, that last flying Raijin Jutsu consumed most of his chakra, and now he barely has any left, not to mention these trees and Sharingan are draining his chakra. In such a state, even maintaining consciousness is difficult, not to mention, fighting back. Comment. "It's over now," said Toby, then held Kakashi's shoulder and activated his dojutsu, Kamui, as a spiraling whirl appeared over Kakashi and Kakashi's figure started to distort. At this moment, Kakashi with his ragged breath sensed that familiar feeling of distortion and he knew that there is only one option left in his hands. "I can't escape this time, I don't have enough chakra to use flying Raijin anymore, and even if I use, it would be useless." Knowing that escape is no longer an option, hopeless Kakashi decided to use the only trump card he has left, although, this trump card of his will most definitely kill him too, so while trying to resist the effect of the spatial pull of Toby, Kakashi said, "Yes, you are absolutely correct, it's really over." As Kakashi said that, the 3 Tomo Sharingan in his eye morphed and changed into the Manjikyu Sharingan. In the past few years, Kakashi has tried to open the Manjikyu Sharingan several times, but without exception, every time he opens his Manjikyu Sharingan he will be overwhelmed by the chakra consumption and lose consciousness. Although he is gradually adapting to the headache and chakra drainage caused by the Manjikyu Sharingan, it is still far from reaching the point where he can use it in combat. So Kakashi knows that if he were to use the Manjikyu Sharingan in his current state, then he would more than likely die of chakra drain. But given that nothing else he has in his hands, Kakashi decided to bet on the Dojutsu Kamui with which he will be able to rip off the head of Toby from his body before dying himself. The Manjikyu Sharingan. Toby was taken aback upon looking at the familiar pattern in Kakashi's left eye. Kakashi used the shock of Toby to his advantage and instantly activated the Dojutsu Kamui. Instantly, another spiraling whirl appeared out of thin air. This one engulfed Toby's body and both of them disappeared from Konoha and the shinobi world.